What if I told you that ancient Buddhist wisdom holds the key to unshakable mental strength in our modern world? For centuries, Buddhist masters have understood secrets that science is only now beginning to confirm, powerful principles that can transform your mind from fragile to formidable. Today, I'm sharing 6 life-changing secrets that will help you stay calm in chaos, bounce back from setbacks, and maintain inner peace no matter what life throws at you. These aren't just philosophical ideas. They're practical tools that have helped millions find strength in their struggles. Lesson 1. Accept what you can't control. Imagine you're trying to smooth out ocean waves with your hands. Sounds impossible, right? That's exactly what we do when we fight against things beyond our control. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that much of our suffering comes from resisting reality rather than accepting it. Think about the last time you were stuck in heavy traffic. Did getting angry change the situation? Did honking your horn make the cars move faster? Probably not, but it definitely increased your stress and frustration. This is where the Buddhist concept of acceptance becomes your superpower. Accepting what you can't control doesn't mean giving up or being passive. Instead, it means acknowledging reality as it is before deciding how to respond. It's about conserving your mental energy for things you can actually influence, rather than exhausting yourself fighting against the unchangeable. First, when facing a challenging situation, pause and ask yourself, can I change this situation right now? If the answer is no, take a deep breath and consciously choose to accept it. Notice how this immediately reduces your stress levels. Next, redirect your energy toward what you can control, your response, your attitude, and your next steps. For example, if your flight is delayed, instead of fuming about it, use that time to read, catch up on work, or practice mindfulness. Remember, acceptance isn't weakness, it's strategic strength. When you stop wrestling with reality, you free up enormous mental and emotional energy. You become like a flexible bamboo that bends with the wind rather than a rigid oak that breaks in the storm. Practice starting small. Maybe it's accepting that your colleague is always going to be a bit messy, or that sometimes plans change at the last minute. As you build this skill, you'll notice yourself becoming more adaptable and resilient in the face of bigger challenges. The beauty of acceptance is that it immediately reduces suffering. When you stop fighting against what is, you create space for clarity and wise action. You might not be able to control the waves, but you can learn to surf them with grace and skill. Lesson 2. Don't take things personally. In Buddhist teaching, there's a profound understanding that most people's actions and words reflect their inner state rather than anything about us. This wisdom is captured in the saying, "What others think of you is none of your business." Consider this. Have you ever been in a great mood and had someone snap at you? Your first reaction might be to take it personally, but often that person's behavior has everything to do with their own struggles and nothing to do with you. They might be dealing with stress at home, health issues, or other personal challenges you know nothing about. This lesson teaches us to maintain emotional independence. When someone criticizes you, instead of immediately absorbing their words as truth, pause and remember that their opinion is filtered through their own experiences, biases, and current state of mind. First, practice observing your reactions when someone says something hurtful. Notice how quickly you make it about you. Then take a step back and consider what might be going on in their world. This simple shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating. Second, develop what Buddhists call equanimity, the ability to maintain mental calmness regardless of external circumstances. When you receive praise, don't let it inflate your ego. When you receive criticism, don't let it deflate your self-worth. Your value doesn't fluctuate based on others' opinions. Think of yourself as a mountain. Weather patterns, others' opinions and actions may come and go around you, but your core remains stable and unmoved. This doesn't mean becoming cold or unfeeling. Rather, it means developing a healthy emotional boundary that allows you to stay centered. Remember, taking things personally is like carrying around a heavy backpack filled with other people's stuff. When you learn to let go of this burden, you'll feel lighter, freer, and more capable of focusing on what truly matters to you. Lesson 3. Wake up early. The Buddhist practice of rising early isn't just about setting an alarm clock. It's about aligning yourself with nature's rhythms and setting a powerful intention for your day. In Buddhist monasteries, monks and nuns rise before dawn, using these quiet hours for meditation and self-development. But why is waking up early so powerful for mental strength? It's about more than just getting a head start on your to-do list. These early morning hours offer a unique opportunity for clarity, focus, and self-mastery that can't be found at any other time of day. When you wake up early, you're making a conscious choice to overcome the comfort of sleep for something more valuable. This small act of self-discipline creates a positive ripple effect throughout your entire day. It's a declaration to yourself that you're committed to your growth and well-being. Start by understanding that the quality of your wake-up time matters more than the quantity of sleep. It's better to get 6 hours of quality sleep and wake up with purpose than to get 8 hours and start your day rushed and scattered. Create a morning routine that nourishes your mind and spirit. This might include meditation, gentle stretching, journaling, or simply sitting in silence with a cup of tea. The key is to use this time for activities that center and strengthen you, not for checking emails or social media. Think of these early morning hours as a gift to yourself, a time when the world is quiet and you can hear your own thoughts clearly. This is when you can set your intentions for the day, visualize your goals, and cultivate the mental strength needed to face challenges. Remember, this practice isn't about punishment or deprivation. It's about creating space for growth and self-discovery. Start gradually, perhaps just 15 minutes earlier than usual, and notice how this small change affects your mental state throughout the day. Lesson 4. Learn from failures. In Buddhist philosophy, there's no such thing as failure, only opportunities for learning and growth. This perspective completely transforms how we experience setbacks and disappointments. Instead of seeing failure as something to fear or avoid, we can view it as a valuable teacher on our path to mental strength. Think about a time when you failed at something important to you. How much of your suffering came from the actual event, and how much came from your judgment about it? Buddhist wisdom teaches us that our greatest growth often comes from our most challenging experiences. The key is to approach failure with curiosity rather than judgment. When something doesn't go as planned, instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" This simple shift in perspective turns every setback into a stepping stone. First, acknowledge that failure is a natural part of any worthwhile endeavor. Just as a child falls many times while learning to walk, we must be willing to fail as we pursue our goals. Each failure brings valuable information about what doesn't work, bringing us closer to what does. Second, develop the habit of reflection after setbacks. Take time to analyze what happened without self-criticism. What were the contributing factors? What assumptions did you make? What could you do differently next time? This analytical approach helps remove the emotional sting from failure and turns it into useful data. Remember that some of history's greatest achievements came after numerous failures. Thomas Edison famously said he hadn't failed 10,000 times when inventing the light bulb. he had successfully found 10,000 ways that wouldn't work. This is the mindset of growth and resilience. Practice sharing your failures with others. This not only helps remove the shame often associated with failure, but also allows others to learn from your experiences. In doing so, you transform your personal setbacks into collective wisdom. Lesson 5. Keep promises to yourself. In Buddhist teachings, integrity isn't just about being honest with others. It's about being honest with yourself. Every time you make and keep a promise to yourself, you build trust in your own capability and strengthen your mental foundation. Think about how you feel when someone breaks a promise to you. Now consider how often you might do this to yourself, promising to exercise, meditate, or work on a personal project, only to let yourself down. Each broken promise erodes your self-trust and weakens your mental strength. The practice of keeping promises to yourself is powerful because it directly impacts your self-image and confidence. When you consistently do what you say you'll do, you develop an unshakable belief in your own reliability and capability. Start small. Don't promise yourself you'll meditate for an hour if you've never meditated before. Begin with 5 minutes. Don't commit to running a marathon if you're new to exercise. Start with a 10-minute walk. The size of the promise matters less than the act of keeping it. Make your promises specific and measurable. Instead of "I'll eat healthier," promise yourself "I'll eat 1 serving of vegetables with lunch every day this week." This clarity makes it easier to know whether you've kept your promise or not. Create accountability systems. Write down your promises. Share them with a trusted friend. Check in with yourself regularly about how you're doing. Treat these promises as sacred contracts with yourself, just as important as any commitment you'd make to someone else. When you do break a promise to yourself, don't use it as an excuse for self-criticism. Instead, treat it as valuable feedback. What made it difficult to keep this promise? How could you adjust it to make it more achievable? Use this information to make better promises in the future. Lesson 6. Stay focused under pressure. Buddhist meditation masters have long understood what modern science now confirms. Our ability to maintain focus under pressure is not fixed, but rather a skill we can develop through practice. This final lesson brings together all the previous teachings to help you maintain mental clarity when it matters most. Pressure situations, whether it's a crucial presentation, a difficult conversation, or a critical decision, often trigger our stress response, clouding our judgment and reducing our effectiveness. The Buddhist approach teaches us to remain centered and clear-minded even in challenging circumstances. Think of your mind like a pond. When it's agitated by wind's pressure, the surface becomes choppy and unclear. But when the wind calms, the water naturally becomes still and transparent. Your task is not to force calmness, but to create conditions where clarity naturally emerges. First, practice mindfulness regularly during calm times. This builds your focus muscle, so it's stronger when you need it. Start with short periods of focused attention on your breath or a simple task. Notice when your mind wanders and gently bring it back. Second, develop awareness of your stress triggers and responses. What situations tend to throw you off balance? How does pressure show up in your body? Tension, rapid breathing, racing thoughts. This awareness allows you to recognize and respond to pressure before it overwhelms you. Create a pressure protocol, a simple sequence of actions you can take when feeling overwhelmed. This might be taking 3 deep breaths, repeating a calming phrase, or doing a quick body scan. Having this protocol ready gives you a reliable way to regain focus under pressure. Remember that staying focused under pressure doesn't mean never feeling stressed. It means maintaining your ability to think clearly and act effectively despite the stress. Like a skilled surgeon, who can perform delicate procedures even in emergency situations. You can learn to access your best capabilities even under pressure. Ultimately, mental strength isn't about never feeling pressure or stress. It's about developing the capacity to work with these challenges skillfully. Each of these 6 lessons builds upon the others, creating a comprehensive approach to developing genuine mental strength and resilience. Practice these teachings with patience and persistence, knowing that like any worthwhile skill, mental strength develops gradually through consistent effort. As you integrate these lessons into your life, you'll find yourself becoming more resilient, centered, and capable of handling whatever challenges life presents with grace and wisdom.